everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Innovation Unleashed at listrak. My name's Jake Pizzini, VP of AI and Revenue. Been here about 6 years, and I'm really excited to be joined by Allie Naughton. Allie, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm a client strategy manager here. I work with the account management team. We chat a lot with clients on the daily about what they're doing in the tool and their strategy, and it actually leans perfectly for our conversation today.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited here. We're here to talk about some of our favorite PTTP. I know you all know HTTP, but that's not what we're here to talk about, actually. PTTP, Performance, Tidbits, Trends, and Predictions, our favorite, PTTP. So, with that said, Allie, Cyber Week Performance, Black Friday to Cyber Monday, what'd you see at the high level? What's something interesting going on?
Yeah, I would say, interestingly enough, a lot of vendors all do their, cyber recaps, which is what we did this year. I would say we're all pretty similar, though. We saw throughout Cyber Week about a 7 to 8% increase in total top-line revenue across all of our clients. That's pretty consistent with what we've seen in the industry, too. So overall, a really strong holiday in general. A lot of changes in the marketplace around a shift towards mobile, some of the bigger days being kind of Black Friday and Thanksgiving. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so one of the really interesting things that we saw was around the vertical side. And, I know that individual brands here, we're all in e-commerce and retail, but apparel fashion was up about 22% year over year. That was really cool to see. This isn't new, but maybe looks like it could have been. Toys, hobby, sporting goods up about 18%. I mean, consistently we have seen double-digit teens and into the 20s growth. Beauty was up almost 30%. Home was up 15% year over year. Auto, even with how prices keep going up there, still up 11%. So a lot of success all over the place in the verticals. Now, my thing here is actually like someone climbing the cliffs of the Alps, wearing a lot of layers, right? We got a lot of layers that we'll dig into here. Let's drill in particular to the actual days, right? So you had mentioned a little bit earlier, big day, Black Friday, big day, Cyber Monday. Can you go a little bit into that? How was Thanksgiving? How does that pair into Black Friday? And then is that ratio between Black Friday and Cyber Monday still staying the same?
Yeah, I would say a lot of this year, it actually has been a trend we've seen a lot the past few years where Cyber Monday isn't really the day we see the largest increase. It is still the largest revenue driving day, but a lot of the changes and bigger deltas we're seeing are around Thanksgiving and Black Friday being bigger lifts. So this year we saw Thanksgiving about a 7% increase in revenue, Black Friday around 11%, that Saturday around 10%. And then when you move into that Sunday and Monday is where we saw pretty flat performance, so only 2 or 3% higher than we did the previous year on those days in terms of revenue.
And that's really impressive in the context that, like me, I actually was trying to brag to my wife that I had finished all of the shopping even before I sat down to eat food or watch football on Thursday, because the deals keep coming out earlier and earlier, yeah. Right? So I did a lot of mine. Halloween came and I said, let's go. I'm ready for my Black Friday purchasing. Who's putting out deals? Then I'd get an email or something, email or text the first week of November, and I'm like, I'm gonna pounce, and my wife's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Wait for Black Friday. I said, no, like marketing 101, what do we do? Let's start sooner. People are starting earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of it purchased there, but then to still have that growth on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and through the weekend is pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say there's an interesting trend this year particularly because there is a week less between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I do feel like retailers understood that and started their sales really in the beginning of November this year, which I think helped consumers decide, hey, I'm cool with shopping earlier because they're seeing the discounts they want and they're pouncing on it. I think inventory has been a very interesting issue the last few years where people are nervous they might not get the product they want. So if they see it at the discount that they want,
yep,
they're all over it. And I would say that trend even between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which is probably why we're seeing Black Friday grow so much, really our retailers, almost like 55% of them, keep the same discount across those days, which is kind of interesting. So I do think the consumer is catching on to that trend too and shopping earlier because they know that that's kind of the discount, especially if Black Friday's in the name.
Yeah, I remember years ago when brands would choose to increase offers and partnering with brands over time. And then it's like the CS horror stories that they had for customer service of like,
Yeah.
I got this other offer. Can you? Just such a mess,
Yes.
right? So, and that was the thing, telling family members, around Thanksgiving, it's like whatever offer you see, it's probably the best offer that you were going to get.
Yeah.
You really don't have to worry about, is there going to be a better one later?
Yeah.
I did see some scaling through
Yep.
some brands, and I was like, oof, they may not do that next year.
Yeah, I think the stat was about 38% of brands did increase their offer from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. And you actually saw brands who did not necessarily have a site-wide, maybe they had like a category sale going on. They added, say, like a 10% on top of that for Cyber Monday. So definitely some interesting trends.
Yeah, cool. Well, early on you had mentioned, and I want to bring it back up, the construct of mobile and the channels specifically. So email on its own, SMS on its own, and then relating them in cross-channel, either with web push and app push. Can you talk a little bit about some channel tidbits and trends that you saw?
Yeah, so starting, I guess, just on like the mobile trend in general. So I feel like every year when we're prepping clients for holiday, that's like core bullet point number one. Mobile's going to grow, mobile optimization, making sure you're thinking about that. And this year, again, we saw those same trends kind of come out, that mobile generated about 60 to 70% of total e-com revenue. It's growing a lot with the younger generation, but also at the same time, we're seeing a total traffic from mobile be like in the 80%. So a lot of people are shopping on mobile. We're seeing a lot of kind of changes in that with the younger generation and shopping and feeling more comfortable buying. So when we talk about channels, we're also seeing mobile, SMS really see the larger increase when we're looking at the two channels. So email is like a mainstay. It is here to stay. Everyone uses it.
The cash cow, profitable, mature,
Yes,
product.
Everyone needs to do it. But the growth in email is much smaller. It's about 5%. Over that whole holiday cyber week, whereas SMS is in like the 20% growth. So we really are seeing a shift. As you see the shift from a macro perspective on site traffic and revenue coming from mobile, channel specifically, we're seeing that same shakeout here too.
Yeah, and it's also on the cross-channel side. So something cool that we saw on the performance end, the listrak clients using cross-channel segmentation actually, according to where they would have gone on projection, keeping everything the same they were, people that had cross-channel orchestration and put thought into it and used automation around it actually saw about 15% better performance. We had grouped brands that were and weren't using it and looked at the differences. And customers are now expecting to get the right, you've always heard, the right message, right time, right place. I'm just even going to focus on right message in the right channel, right? So if someone has an active session on your site and is in on mobile, right? Then it's SMS and app push that are probably going to work the best and be meeting your consumer where they are, right? But if their last active session was on desktop, or it happened to be many hours ago or something like that, then that's where email can work. And so it's kind of this really interesting thing where people come to expect to get it in the right medium, but also getting to the information that they really need. So that's where I've found the most interesting success in working with brands is hit them in the right channel that's supposed to happen based on how they're interacting with the brand, but then also know something that's more important than something else. And the example that I would give, I always like to go back when talking about this, and Uni is not a client, but it is my example that one day hopefully they'll partner with us for some tremendous growth. But those outdoor pizza ovens, right? I had wanted one so bad back in the pandemic. And I was like, I'm going to get this. My wife's like, you can't drop $500 to $1,000 on this. You're never going to use it. You're going to keep it in the shed. And I said, no. If I had to keep it in the shed, I would never use it. But if I was able to take it and, have the cover for it outside and just have a stand, I will use it all the time, and we will love it, and you will love the pizza. But this was in the pandemic, and the cover was out of stock, So I signed up for the back in stock
Classic.
alerts, right? But they only had email. It was the only way I could sign up. And then, days going by, supply chain issues in the pandemic. It's like, when is it ever going to come? I'm just waiting patiently like a lion stalking its prey in the Serengeti, right? And then I'm driving one day, not looking at my phone while driving, but at a red light, I look because I run the zero bubble inbox, and I see a bubble, and I'm like, what was that? And I'm like, oh, where's the email? I scroll down. I had missed it at like 8 a.m. I got the back in stock notified. But this is in the pandemic. It's like, oh my God, it may never, like it could be sold out already. They may not have it. I pull over into a parking lot, add everything into my cart and buy it. And then literally when I teach at Villanova at nights. I was going to teach an MBA class. When I went to tell the students the story, they checked online and it was already out of stock.
There you go.
And it's a long story, but the context being that I would have taken it anyway. You ever seen The Office with woofing? I would have had email, fax, SMS, app push, web push, smoke signal, carrier pigeon from Harry Potter, like an owl, like whatever. I just needed to know it.
Yeah.
So when you have someone that's been on your site 5, 6, 7, 8 times, looking at the same product, clicking on an alert for something when it's back in stock, it's like, don't care what device they were on. Send it every way possible to get them to know. And there are people and instances of that happening over the holidays. So it was great to see that cross-channel, being intentional as to what you're doing, but then also knowing when to just let the hatchet go. And it's something when you're doing the flash 30% off for the next hour sale, it was great to see brands just put that out into all channels and coordinate that way.
Well, if you think about the trend, right? So the trend is those bigger days are actually Thanksgiving, Black Friday, that Saturday after Black Friday being the bigger days that we're seeing lifts in, not necessarily total revenue. It makes sense that mobile's growing because Thanksgiving, I don't have my laptop at family dinner. So when you think about the growth we're seeing,
you shouldn't
in
even
those
have your
channels.
cell phone at dinner, Allie. Spend time with the fam. Come on, you're not that person looking under at the football score,
But
are
you understand why the channel grows because those days kind of go together because you're not tied to a desktop computer and looking at email and that sort of thing. It's like it has to interrupt maybe what you're doing to kind of really break through some of that. So I think that it kind of pairs really well together, thinking about the days and how we're seeing increases in channels that are more immediate, like mobile and app push that you're getting like a real-time notification for.
Yeah, and the last part of the channels on that, one of the great things that brands have started to use at listrak is the AI channel affinity, where if they have email, SMS, web push, and app push, or any set of those all within listrak, then we're using our AI to decide, hey, where was that last session? What was the last thing that they clicked?
Yeah.
And then what channel are they predicted to best engage with? And you could, decide it could be going on a click, it could be going on conversion, whatever. But then instead of having to send it out in 4 channels or deciding, I'm going to send the email to this person or the SMS to that, it will just send the right message to the right person in the medium that they're most likely to. I mean, it's a game changer, right? So that's been really cool.
I love that you brought up AI. That was a big point of trend different this year. So again, a lot of these trends, I keep joking, you see the same trend year over year, but with ChatGPT becoming more and more adopted, we actually saw a huge increase in traffic to sites this year from AI bots like ChatGPT, where people are really using it to be a personal shopper and ask them, hey, what should I get my mom for Christmas this year or Hanukkah this year? And with that, I feel like that is a whole different group of people from a targeting and personalization perspective that brands really need to think about how they're talking to them.
Yeah, exactly right. On the personalization side, looking at all clients across listrak, 85% of all of the billions of dollars generated through listrak platform came with 85% of it was driven by listrak AI. Dynamic content, dynamic segmentation, dynamic product recommendations, predictive analytics, all of those things encompassing in AI. 85% of all of the billions of dollars that came across using listrak channels came from personalization. It's amazing. That's really the experience that people are expecting to get. They're expecting to get a hyper-personalized, individual, tailored experience to themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And, it might be a topic for another podcast of Innovation Unleashed, but they want that without any tracking and no one to know anything about them. They want the absolute perfect personalized experience. But some of our clients, over probably over about 20 of our clients and using our GXP solution, the managed service solution, are using a new product that we have of AI concierge. So based on someone coming to the site and us recognizing that we know them, email, through SMS, or having been on previous sessions and interacted, everything that they've done across their devices is personalized to them, and then there's this concierge that pops up with individualized recommendations for them. It might say, shopping for your mom, get these things. Oh, looking for yourself. That was one of the coolest things where we actually know, are they looking for themselves or are they looking for someone else based on what they've been looking at. So like Dooney and Burke, one of our clients, they actually experienced a almost 30%, 29% improved conversion rate with this AI concierge.
Yeah.
But being able to pick up the signals of who they're looking at, what they're looking for across the devices, and then, hey, you come to another device and it's pick up where you left off. I actually think you might like this product, really working well over a control group.
Yeah, and if you think about the holidays, I think it's a great use case of like problem solving, because people do not know what to buy for people, so they are really hoping and wanting that recommendation and personalization based off of that. I think I did see a stat much lower than the 30%, but it was like a 2% lift in any session on sites that people interacted with, like a chatbot or like AI on site. They saw a 2% lift in conversion. So not our data, but just like industry data. So it is becoming more adopted that people expect that, want that. And then if we can deliver something like AI concierge and be super personalized, it only benefits that end journey, which is great. Especially with like small teams. So every team that I've worked with here as an account manager in my previous role, they're all small teams executing these millions of dollars of sales for brands. So the more and more you can work smarter, not harder, and leverage content that will personalize for you, the better it's going to be.
100%. So now personalization, we talked about that a lot. Let's get to the other aspect of personalized, because everyone wants the personalized offers or discounts. Can you talk a little about discounting, and let's get going on that?
Yeah, we looked at that a ton this year. So overall, we looked at kind of what types of discounts our clients were doing year over year. And the majority, actually, we saw a large shift to people adopting like a site-wide offer. From last year, we had a larger bucket of people who actually did more category or product-based discounts. We saw a large increase to the site offer, which is no surprise given that clients have kind of had a rough year in the beginning of the year and realized kind of the value marker is the most important thing.
And just easier, again, with the customer service piece we were saying, like
Yes.
when it's like, oh, I can get the offer, but only if I do it on Thursday, you know, from this device with this product, and I click it
Yes.
at 4 o'clock when the sun is shining, it can't possibly be raining. And like, no one likes that. Like
Yeah.
you see that you don't like to be duped. Right,
Yes.
the consumer doesn't want to be duped. So
Yes.
site-wide, much easier, much simpler,
Yeah.
better experience for the customer. Now, on those offers, have you seen anything with the size of the offer, the depth of the discount? What are you seeing?
Yeah, we saw last year like averaging of what people typically gave was about 27% off site-wide and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so the key days. And this year it was up to 29%. So a lot of brands discounting at a higher rate this year. I think truly understand.
Holy guacamole. I might have been shopping at some of the wrong brands, right? Almost 30% off. I mean, I thought I saw a lot of 10%, a lot of 20%.
Yeah.
I actually believe that the omni-channel experience, we have a lot of brands with stores
Yep.
doing online, the getting someone to walk in the store, the surprise and delight form of a discount. Like me
Yeah.
personally, again, Target is not a client, but it'll be an example I'll speak to. I had to pick something up on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I went into a Target, and I was picking up some cards or some random stuff, wasn't looking to get toys. But then there was an end cap that had this big sets of boxes, didn't know what it was. It was this Toy Story, like full size, like, you know, a full size Buzz Lightyear, like this big. And then a Buzz Lightyear, a Woody, the Potato Head, the Slinko guy, maybe the Forky, and I think the dinosaurs, like 6 of them. And this box was humongous. And I could tell that's probably why they're trying to get rid of this thing. Takes up so much space, and maybe
Yeah.
Toy Story isn't the most popular anymore.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm like, what? It said half off. And I'm like, okay, half off. How much was it? the thing was originally $60 was $30. This isn't like 1995. We're in 2024. I was like, this thing should probably cost a ton of money, $30. I was so delighted that I got such a good deal, right? And then what did I do? I pulled up Amazon and stuff to see how much it would cost, and yeah, it's retailing 60 or more, right? So it was half off, and I think that omni-channel experience to get someone to come to the store, be able to be surprised and delighted in the store, but then also the ability, and our clients are again doing it through GXP, not really meaning to plug it, but where you're getting that constant testing and personalization. It's like, hey, you've gone through being able to know that anyone that goes through these experiences on the website goes from here to here, maybe looks at a couple videos, checks out X number of products within a category, then getting the concierge popping up and saying, hey, you're really interested in this. Sometimes it's like in the auto side, it's seeing that a couple of those signals have happened and then being delighted by, hey, Lewis in our service department, would you like to chat with them to learn more about your vehicle and how this could help, by seeing that they've looked at a few things, or seeing that they've looked at a couple things in the category and say, here, know you're really interested in this, here's 10% off this item, right? So the personalized, not just in who you are, but the experience that you're having on site, what you're seeing, where you're going, and being able to take individual segments of that and give them a delighted experience.
Omni, and I know we'll talk kind of more how some of these trends play into the future for us, but like Omni is finally, when you look at kind of like the curve of what happened over pandemic, people are going back in store at a higher rate than 2019 now. We haven't seen that the past few years. And it is because people love that experience, and brands are investing in making the shopping experience delightful to go in store. And it makes sense because you spend more money when you're in store. It's an ease of like returns, which is like very costly for brands as well. So there are so many positives, not just to getting people to spend more, but that help the brand if they can get someone in store. And to that point, a lot of our clients will personalize based on maybe your most common order like source. So if you are more of a in-store shopper versus e-com shopper, they're playing together. Like this click and mortar mentality is very common these days, and brands have to adapt to make sure that they're
click and mortar, killing it. Now, so here, and I don't want to, 180 it and whiplash it the other way, but we're actually working with brands on the in-store too to do the opposite, right? So there's only so much space, but then if you're in store, QR code gets you to the website that then gets you to the more product information that you would want to know about that thing. Because like on a PDP on the web, you can give all sorts of information, photos, pictures, how-tos, all that kind of stuff. Reviews. That content isn't anywhere when you're looking at a store shelf. So we've been working with brands and stores to have QR codes that then take you straight to those specific PDPs and landing pages that help with the experience in store to have that full connection as well.
The more information, I feel like the better. This is kind of the most conscious consumer that we've seen in that marketplace of really wanting all the knowledge before they purchase something.
Exactly. So, I love my quotes, in the words of Bon Jovi, we're halfway there, getting, through towards the end of the year after the holiday. I mean, so and the crazy thing is that not a lot of people know that even though Black Friday, Cyber Monday, humongous performance, the conversion rate in December across e-com can sometimes be 2x what it is the rest of the year. And that's every day, December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, etc., right? So we're halfway there. We're getting towards the end of the year.
Our shipping cutoffs are
shipping
coming.
Cutoffs are rapidly approaching. Our studio's got to get this out real quick because, we're talking in timing. That's cool, though. They're great. So what do you see coming in the future? What do you see for the second half of December and then kicking off into 25?
Yeah, I would say that like concept of the very conscious consumer we're going to see continue into 25, where really this year the focus was a lot of value matters. So if you weren't discounting, people were less brand loyal because they really were looking for a deal given they were spending more on essentials. So stretching that dollar further is still going to continue into next year. I would say probably more of a focus, though, on loyalty. So you've seen a lot of big brands this year either launch loyalty programs or relaunch loyalty programs with better perks. Obviously, brands want to collect more of that first-party data. And also, it helps incentivize why they should shop with the brand because you're giving them discounts within your loyalty program and almost better ones. So,
and 100%. And that's where then having that loyalty data so seamlessly, like for example, our Shopify clients, with listrak being a premier Shopify partner, right?
Yep.
With all those customer order product tags, anything that's in Shopify instantly in real time coming over to listrak.
Yeah.
We have brands, all their loyalty data and tags coming over straight, and then dynamic content based off of that in our messages. So that's a whole nother thing, a whole journey for, hey, you've got 50 points from the next tier, or you just maybe someone's lapsed but they're close to a tier, and it's like, hey, if you come back to the site now and buy, we'll double your loyalty points.
Yeah.
Right? Being able to pull those levers of everything that you know about someone, their interests, what they've been browsing. I mean, when you put that Shopify data with the browse data with potentially store data all together, that's really where it's been so powerful. So it's very exciting to see what brands are now starting to do when they have all their data in one place and can truly use AI to do a lot of the hard work and math for them, and just make sure they're focusing on the best experience and delighting.
Yeah, and I think we could do a whole podcast on 2025 predictions for sure, but really kind of focusing on those core ones, I think, is what a lot of brands and retailers will be, as we get, typically our clients reach out to us on like January 2, being like, so when are we scheduling our QBR for the new year? So a lot of exciting stuff to come, but I feel like from this holiday, learned a lot just around how brands are really trying to find that consumer where they are, and hopefully give them the discount that'll keep them shopping with their brand each year. So pretty exciting stuff.
Great. Well, Allie, it has been amazing having you on. I love chatting with you. Hopefully we'll do this again in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And, to our viewers, thank you all for watching this most recent episode of Innovation Unleashed at listrak. Jake Pizzini signing off. You have a great new year.
Thanks, guys.